sometimes people struggle knowing what to say to their own family. What was your approach in terms of telling them about the diagnosis and or any complications or issues that came up later?
I found from the beginning it was easier just to be honest, and I literally rang my husband from the car park in the hospital and just said I've been diagnosed with cancer, because I just thought he should know really. I don't either want him to hear from somebody else, so he was the first person I told. And I think the hardest part was telling my son. I didn't know what I was going to tell him. But on the actual morning, when I was driving home, my phone rang on the way home. I arrived on my drive and I checked, and it was from his school. I rang up the school, and he'd been taken ill at school, and the message was that he was making his own way home. So he literally came home within 10 minutes of me getting home myself, and I thought I've got to tell him he's here. And I literally told him I'd been to the hospital and had been diagnosed with cancer, and I was going to have to go in and have an operation. And his initial sort of reaction was I going to lose my hair and end up wearing a wig? I think that was his...
He was focusing on that.
That's what he just thought that's what cancer, that's what people with cancer were like.
And how old was he at the time?
He was 14. And I've always been very honest with the diagnosis and treatment.
How do you think it affected them? How do you think they coped with it all?
I think it was a great shock initially, and but I don't think they realised sort of the enormity of it at the time at all. And certainly, as I've said before, I think with the surgery, I think they thought once I was home I'd be okay, like I normally was. I'd be back, by the end of the week I'd be back how I used to be. But I've actually found since then, I've delegated work at home a lot more, and I've found that my son, he's had to become a lot more independent. So he's learned how to use a washing machine, sort his colours and his whites.
That's got to be a good thing.
And he can change his bed, and he can load the tumble dryer, and he comes and helps me with the shopping every week. He can, loads up the trolley and does all of that sort of thing. So any sort of heavy lifting, he helps with that. And I think there's been a lot. I don't do anywhere near as much around the house. I think it's certainly a much more sort of balanced. I think everybody's working together more at home. And I think, my husband and my son, they're aware if you're tired, they give you that space. And I can actually, if I need help, I can ask for it. I think before I didn't ask for help and they just get quite cross. But I've found now that if I need help, they can, they will do what I ask them to do, really.
Do you think that families in general need a bit of extra support? I'm thinking more from the professional point of view, but it could be from the voluntary sector, from anywhere really. Do you think we should attend to caregivers' needs a bit more?
Yeah, I actually think, I quite often find, I think the patients get the medical support. They've got nurses, doctors. Yeah, they get the support. But I think quite often the caregivers are forgotten, and they take a lot of the strain, really. I think, they probably save this country quite a lot of money, really. And especially caregivers who perhaps have got their own medical mobility needs as well. I've actually found it is quite stressful, very stressful for caregivers.